It is Thursday, August 6th. What Kahnawake Joe Delaronde Ujets. Welcome to the COVID-19 Task Force update. It is our 116th update and a very important one. I'm sure today we have extra viewers who are checking this out because the announcements are coming regarding the upcoming school season. Joining us on today's program will be Robin Delaronde, Natalie, Beauvais, and Zacharie. So there's lots to report on. Just before we do that, though, just want to mention there is an announcement coming up in the next couple of days, because one of the things going on is the gyms, inside gyms, not the outdoor ones, the indoor gyms. There's going to be a decision made, and there probably will be an opening very shortly. But wait for the announcement. There's lots of details that still have to be worked out, but I know the people who are involved there have been making calls. So it is being addressed, and it'll be addressed shortly. All right, without further ado, let's talk about the upcoming school year. And we'll start things off, I guess fittingly, with the Director of Education from the Kahnawake Education Center, Robin Delaronde. Robin?
So what Kahnawake, so we'll go to everyone, and I would like to thank you for your patience as I begin to present the plan for the Kahnawake Education Center and for our community schools as well, other community schools. On behalf of the Kahnawake Education Center, I am here to provide you with information on the plan reopening for the 2020-2021 school season. We really appreciate your patience as we have begun to prepare these plans, and just to advise you that in addition to the plans that we prepared, we realize that we really need to continue planning, and there will be ongoing preparations and revisions that probably will be made. The task force has authorized our reopening of the schools, and along with that, the support has come from the Kahnawake Combined School Committee as well. These plans, I must let you know, were not made lightly. The consideration to reopen schools was not something that we did without taking into full consideration all the various aspects and concerns and needs for everyone in our community. I want to let everyone know that we did not make these decisions based on any pressure that came from either the need to reopen economy, the need for parents to get back to work. The decision to open our schools was based on the overall needs for our children within our community schools. We talk about holistic education. We see that in our mission statements, we see that in our vision statements. And when we look at holistic education and what that means for our children, it is not education that is primarily on the intellect and the knowledge and so forth. Holistic education for us as Ungwe people is regarding not only the intellectual, but also the social, the emotional, the physical, and the spiritual well-being of our children. And as we've reflected and seen and heard of this past year, we have made that decision based on the overall wellness of our children and the need for them to return back to school. The need for them to be able to engage with their peers in as much a safe environment as we can provide and what we will provide. The need for them to be able to be physically moving around, engage, whether they are doing outdoor learning, whether are they connecting with others in the community. This is essential to any child's upbringing and well-being. So with that in mind, those were the main reasoning that we provided and decided to open our schools. I will be relaying more information regarding the various models and concepts that we've been developing. But at this time, I also have additional information to add that we decided today in order to make a very firm decision about the extension of the reopening of the school year. Originally, I want you to know that we are going to be pushing back the start of the school year for the students for 2 weeks. We will be doing that for the following reasons. The following reasons were we looked at and considered that we do know that although Kahnawake has a low transmission rate at this time, and we probably are in the best capacity situation to open because of that, we realize that there are many unknowns and information that's happening outside of our community. We are starting to see some rise in cases, and we also would like to be able to see what are the medical impacts that are happening both in the province but also within other provincial schools as they open, and so that we can learn from these situations that may happen, although we're really hoping that it is a safe re-entry for them. As well, this 2-week extension is going to allow the KEC, along with health service and the Carrie Memorial Hospital, other educational bodies, school bus transportation reps, to really look at an elementary health and safety guidelines to follow so that it is comprehensive, it is consistent, and that we are clear in terms of how we are going to reopen and what guidelines we will follow for our school. In addition, the extension allows for our educators, other people who are in our schools, to be able to be provided with professional development as well as the training they need in order to be able to work within a school environment and ensure that health and safety guidelines and protocols are followed. So that was taken into consideration as well. And just to let you know that I would like to go through, I know people are really interested in terms of the starting dates and what will occur. So as I'll go through the specific dates, and I believe they're going to be putting up a calendar so that we can give community members with the KEC schools a visual as to what we have planned, and I'll go through that in more depth. So in the month of August, we still are expecting, do expect our educators to return as normally planned. So all educators from our schools will be returning. During this period of time, those days will be allocated, as I had stated, for either teacher wellness, because this is something that's really important, and we have heard that, and we know that coming into schools and reopening is a situation where our educators are feeling anxious. Everyone is feeling a bit nervous, and we have scheduled professional development days and trainings and sessions to help support them as they come back into our schools and to help them deal with any of the anxieties and stressors that they have. So we will be providing those types of professional development for our educators. We will also, during that week, as I said, there's various trainings that we will be providing. As you can see, as we go on to the month of September, in September, it'll continue on with the school preparation and planning. So what you see there in the yellow is the school preparation and planning for our educators at the KEC schools. You will see that during the month of the week of the 14th to the 17th is what we normally are calling, and we have called, our orientation days. Orientation days in the past have been scheduled where many of the parents would bring groups of children in, find out who your teacher is. But of course, with COVID at those days, what we are dealing with is each of the schools will give you more details, but we are working to have one-on-one or bring your child in and meet with your teacher. This is going to be planned for elementary and even for the high schools. So we are looking at more of a real connection back with our parents, back with our students, so that there's that ability to answer questions, hand Chromebooks to parents, talk about the seriousness and the support we need and collaboration. On the 21st to the 24th are the days where we will be looking and bringing in a staggered entry into our school. Now, what does that mean? That means that, for example, on one day we may bring in the nursery kindergarten for full day and at the same time bring in the 5-6s. This allows us and allows the children and the parents to have a re-entry into the school where we can monitor the entry, where we can see and reassess how things are going. We will be able to debrief, and other staff member will be able to watch and observe as our students and our children come back into the school. So we will be giving you more information about the staggered re-entry and the dates and the grade levels. And in the end, our hopes are that on the 24th, we will have all the schools be able to come in, and we will be able to see all the grade levels able to come in and see how that is. On the 28th is going to be the day where officially we're going to all come back together and our regular school operations will occur. You will see one of the main things that was vital is that during what we're calling this as a phase, one of the things that was vital was that we wanted, and it was highly stressed, that our educators are entering into a new era or new situation that they are not obviously used to. There's so much planning, and that day for the Fridays that you see there will be designated for situations such as continued professional development, going back and looking at our health and safety guidelines and plans and assessing them, teachers contacting parents, updating how things are going with their children, ongoing individual education plan, revisiting, contacting parents for updates and assessments if needed for children. We have various health and safety guidelines, and I'm just going to go through briefly just some general, but please note that those are some of the guidelines that we're going to go into more specifics later at another time, and I'm not going to go through all of them. But I want to reassure you as parents that we are looking very closely and monitoring, making sure that we are certain that parents are sending their children in as a collaborative effort. There'll be situations where the regular hand washing, monitoring before entering the building. There will be situations where we are going to be asking students not students, but we're going to be having students are going to be in classrooms for approximately a certain number of hours, of course, but our combined school committee, and we have heard from others that outdoor learning is going to be an approach. So as much as possible, weather permitting, our students will be outdoors, indoors, and working in classes between 10 and 12. So our schools are working right now to conduct the layouts, making sure that the plexiglass is there, making sure that the rooms are spaced out, and making sure that everything is in order. I want to state that and stress that the phase re-entry has goals. So we consider this our first phase. The first phase that we are entering into is that our goal is to support parents. Our goal is to support students and educators as they transition into our new school. That is the first goal that we want to make sure we accomplish during that phase. The second is that we also want to make sure that the health and safety routines are practiced, that we monitor them, and we establish them and revisit them if needed. The academic priorities for the elementary school and are that the focus will be on literacy and numeracy. The other educators in the building will be there to help, either for outdoor learning and to help support other teachers, because we do know that there will be additional supports required as we bring our children back into the schools. We want students to be able to return to school and enjoy their opportunities to socialize within a healthy, safety guideline, health and safety and safe environment, following the guidelines that we have put in place. And what we want them to do is, while they're in there, to practice the online learning. Practice it in the schools, practice it with their teachers, and to become used to how to engage in online learning in their classroom while they're on site. This is what will prepare them should we have to revert back to any form of full online learning. Phase 2 will begin on November 2nd. I'm not going to go into all the details about phase 2, but I can brief you at another date as to what those goals will be. The particulars parents should know is that in terms of getting ready for school and what should I do just immediately, I would say that lunch will be in the classroom. I would expect parents to prepare for that, to make sure that children, you purchase lunch boxes and bags and that you prepare for that. We will having flexible times to bring children out for recess. It's when the educators feel that it is best to take them out. And as I said, I will go into more details, but we are taking all the considerations into what is the best safe environment for the children. In terms of the wellness, I had already stated, what we're doing for our educators, but we also will be there to support the children, because this is going to also be some challenges that they will face for some. For some, I'm certain they're eager to come back into the school. In terms of tech, we have been providing and purchasing Chromebooks, and we have a large inventory of Chromebooks ready. And we also have a lot of access to various apps and resources. One of the areas I'm aware, and as we opened, we took into consideration all of the needs for our community. One of them, obviously, is the on-site learning. But we also identified the fact that we know that parents are concerned. We know that even though we may offer the best environment that's healthy, that's safe, that there still will be parents who feel that they are not ready to send their children to school. And with that, we have begun to develop an option for parents. At this time, many of the individuals and people speaking about it are referring it to homeschooling. Although homeschooling in the Kahnawake education system, it is not a component, an element that we provided. We are quickly developing a program that would support parents who wish to opt for that type of education for their children. We want to be clear that it is not a full homeschooling, but it will be include supports from the KEC. It will include contact frequently with the parents who choose to engage in this option. We are currently developing a guidebook on what it entails that we will be releasing soon. And we will ensure that there's monitoring processes to connect with you, because we want to reiterate to those of you who may be new to homeschooling that we understand it is a challenge. It is a challenge to deliver such a program to your child, and it is a challenge when you have more than one child in a school. So to please be patient, but we will be delivering more information and a detailed guide on homeschooling. One of the things we will be doing fairly soon and next week is we will be sending out and making calls, I should say, to parents. Expect call survey asking you what you're opting for. Will you be opting for on-site, or will you be opting for the homeschooling type of remote learning concept? It is important, once we give you the dates regarding homeschooling, we give you the dates regarding your options that we will be calling, that you please respond. It's important because once we have the numbers of students who will be on site, that allows us to plan accordingly in terms of classroom space and so forth. And as well, it allows us to plan accordingly if you are choosing that option for home support, that we prepare materials to ensure that you are provided with the resources you need. So next week, probably by Monday, we will be giving you more information on the dates when we're going to be reaching out to you regarding your choice. In addition to those calls that we're going to be making, we will more than likely be asking you about bus service and your intentions in terms of driving your child to school, which is something that we, as well as the MCK Transport Department, are strongly recommending is the option that you take. But our survey, we will contact you regarding who would be eligible for bus service. And so you know, as parents, of course, keeping in mind the health and safety guidelines, space is limited on MCK buses. So at this time, as I said, there's going to be more information to release. Specific to high school, though I do want to go into the specifics for high school and very quickly, but for Kahnawake Survival School, we are looking at a Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday on-site learning for for grades 7, 8, and 9. On the other 2 days, they will be provided with online learning or project-based learning. For our senior school students, the opposite will occur. They will be on site for 2 days, and they will be provided with online learning. They too will have an option if a parent does not want the child on site. We will make accommodations for that as well. I wanted to give updates. I'm going to give some brief updates in terms of the other educational organizations within our community that they provided. But before doing that, I also wanted to reach out to the post-secondary students who are in our community and attend the various universities and CEGEPs. This has been compiled by our post-secondary department, and I thank them. They would like to state that the CEGEPs tend to be complicated since they are provincial institutions, so there's no one model. They follow the Quebec Provincial Post-Secondary Reopening Guides. Generally, what can be said is that most CEGEPs are going to be conducting their services and delivering courses online or with a blended model. With that in mind, the more practical courses like math, science labs are what would probably be delivered on site. And the same with exams. There will be differences in terms of the exams that many of the CEGEPs and universities are planning to deliver. Orientation for our CEGEP and university students will vary. Some of them will be in person, some will be on campus, some will be virtual. So once again, there's various situations and circumstances. But they would like to remind all of our post-secondary students to please make sure all of the updates will be coming on your Omnivox, in your Omnivox accounts, and to please check them consistently. Similarly, universities are facing the same type of challenges and will be delivering the services pretty much in the way that the CEGEPs are doing. Bishop's University is the only local university that's offering both the campus and online courses. Ontario colleges such as Algonquin, St. Lawrence are also offering remote and remote on-campus courses, and it varies with your program. In the community, we currently provide the Bachelor of Education program in collaboration with McGill University. So those educators who are in that program, they will continue to hold the courses online in the fall of 2020. The post-secondary wants to really state that if any of the students need any support, to please reach out to them, then that's what they're there for. As in terms with the busing, I already spoke about the busing, and we will be giving you more information as well regarding the guidelines and eligibility. In terms of the cultural center, the Kahnawake Owana Ojokwa Cultural Center, they will be reopening in September 28th, with September 23rd and 24th reserved for planning dates for them in order to allow them for the necessary planning. So they are going to be opening their doors to their one cohort of students. Gariwanordu is similar to the phase approach, is going to be doing the phase approach from September to the end of October. And their staff will return to work full-time on the 24th for planning, training, and the organization. At the week of September 14th, they are going to be having staggered orientation for Avery's. And their doors will open for all children for Gariwanoru, for children from 18 months to 4 years at Avery's on September 21st from Monday to Thursday. In the first phase, similar to the KEC, they will not be operating, and then we'll be using this for prepping, cleaning, and so forth. During the week of September 21st, those staggered orientations will occur for all levels. I already said that, sorry. So some of the parents will not be sending their children in at all, have that choice. However, you must still register, as Gariwanoru will provide you with resources, online, videos, and so forth. Gariwanoru classes are small, and it is felt that it is in the best interest to split the classes into a hybrid learning model. To start the year off, Gariwanoru already combines 2 levels in their classrooms, therefore accommodating some of the students for the start in this manner as possible. Outdoor learning as well is going to be highly encouraged, and of course, weather permitting. And Gariwanoru will be following the health and safety regulations for schools according to Kahnawak's task force and step-by-step procedures during this pandemic time. The First Nations Regional Adult Education Center, the center has been physically closed since March to the staff and students for phase 1 in preparation for the building. However, they did immediately move to online learning at that time, which continued up until the end of this school year. The center is now entering into their second phase and are preparing the reopening plans that they will send to the task force with approval of inspections. They've worked these past 6 months to develop online platforms for their Indigenous learners, are in the process of developing training opportunities to teaching staff to support continued online learning. We will be following a hybrid approach for our teaching staff to start our new year. Teachers can be scheduled into our center, but students will remain online until they can safely transition them back in. They will continue with their online programming and monitor the developments of the COVID pandemic. At this time, I'm the only school that will be relaying information, I assume separately, or has already done so to their students and staff, is Indian Way. So I encourage Indian Way students and parents to reach out for updates. So before I close and hand off the mic to Natalie from Step by Step and Kyle, I just want to reiterate that the planning is being done to ensure the safety of and the extension, I should say, is being done to ensure that the safety measures are all in place and coordinated and consistent. We are also extending due to the fact that we want to make sure that our teachers, our educators are planned and prepared. In addition to that, we need that time to assess the health conditions and what is happening around us in the province, and for that to guide us in terms of the and guide us for the opening that's to come. I also want parents to please stay, check our website, check our Facebook, because we will be sending out the information regarding the survey by next week, and the times that will be out there. We will also be giving more of a formal outline to parents and to community about the dates, and also about the plans for each of the schools and what's involved. And as well, we will be providing more of a consolidated information regarding the homeschooling remote learning concept and how to register for that as well. So Kahnawake, and if you have any questions, please feel free to contact through the Kahnawake Education Center or through the COVID Kahnawake Task Force here if you have any questions. Kahnawake.
Yeah, Robin, obviously a lot of work has gone into this, and there's still more to come. Just on that basis, we'd like to let you know that because education is so important and is so big, that we have been doing our updates on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it is probable that we will do extra broadcasts specifically on education, kind of like today. And as the information, there's so much that's needed, we'll be back here and to just make sure you get the information you need as parents and as students. Also, just a note that Robin was mentioning about the bus services. We have prepared a video to actually show you some of the works that are being done to prepare for that, and you'll see that sometime in the next few days. All right, joining us now from the Step by Step Child and Family Center is the Executive Director, Natalie Beauvais. Natalie?
Thanks, Joe. Good afternoon. So I'm here to give you a little bit of update for Step by Step. Many of you already are aware that we've been running right through COVID. So we've been open 5 months. We went from essential services to dealing with some vulnerable families, and we've been taking in more and more students. So we anticipate having a full house come September. But in the meantime, our regular programming for the summer finishes next week on Friday. We'll have 3 planning days as usual on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the 17, 18, and 19. At that point, any new students, brand new students to Step by Step, are going to be contacted. We're going to be doing this a little bit differently than we've done in the past, whereas we would have an orientation and parents could come into our building, visit with the teacher, come into the classroom. That's not going to happen this year for obvious reasons. So what we want to ensure is that parents have an opportunity to come in with their child for at least 10 minutes before they're handing their child off to the educator for the first time. So we want to do that in a way that allows for an easier transition. With that being said, it's going to need to be by appointment. We can't have too many people in the building. We have to really take care and do those precautionary measures as we have been doing for the past 5 months. We're very, very strict, and a lot of the reason for that is that the educators have to be in full PPE, personal protective equipment, because we do not social distance with the children. We cannot social distance with them because they're 18 months to 5 years old. When they fall, when they get hurt, when there's a struggle between children, so on and so forth, we have to get in the middle of that, and we have to, hold them, console them, and it's all about bonding and attachment. It's so important. We are disinfecting throughout the day the high-touch surfaces. We are disinfecting the toys, the playground, everything that the child comes into contact with. We're asking for extra clothing for the children. The educators have to change their clothes sometimes throughout the day if there's anything that gets soiled on their bodies, in their even their skin has to be washed, and so there's quite a lot that needs to be done. We're going to continue doing that, and like I said, with the reopening of the schools, the delayed reopening, right now the way it stands is that Step by Step will be at capacity come September. So with that delay, we're going to look at working together to see if there is going to be a solution that we can have for parents who will not have a service during that time. And perhaps Zacharie will have a little bit more to say on that in a few minutes as well. But together we're going to look at options, and we don't know. In the meantime, you may need to look into alternative childcare for your child during that period. Like I said, it's really a challenging year. It's difficult to let your child go for the first time into strangers' arms. We totally get that. We are looking into doing a correspondence type of, people are aware of Dojo. We're going to be doing something similar to that. We're looking into that right now so that parents will have more of opportunity to contact and have updates on their children, because they won't have access to the educators like they have in the past. So with all that being said, we really need and ask that parents be patient, because the drop-off and the pickup, as you know, is done by individuals all throughout the morning and the afternoon. For that, we're looking at alternate entrances to our building. We're looking at how we're going to make this as easy as possible for individuals, but there will be wait times. So we're looking at how to alleviate that as well. Everyone has to wear a mask. Even though you're outside, even though you're dropping your child off at the door, it's still a public area. When you come onto the property at Step by Step, you must wear your mask. We're also asking that families, I know it's difficult. You need the child care, you need to get to work. If your child is sick, you need to keep them home. Do not give them Tylenol, do not give them something to suppress the fever, because when the fever comes back in the daycare, it's going to cause a big concern for us, because then they're going to need to go into an isolation room. We're going to have to, advise, the parent's going to have to come. So we're trying to alleviate this, and I know it's going to be frustrating. We've been through 5 months of challenge so far, and it's going to be at least maybe another year or so. But we want to work together so that we have a way that, everybody is safe. And like I said, we're not social distancing, so everybody's in the same place. The educators have their PPE on at all times in the classroom and outdoors with the children. The last thing I think I'd like to say is, if you have questions, if you have concerns, if you have anything that is bothering you, and you just want to talk to someone, call us at Step by Step. Speak with Sonia Nicholas, who's the supervisor of program services, or Melissa Lasante, who's in charge of resources and specialists, or myself. If you want to have some answers, come to us. Please check Facebook. We will be giving updates on there. We do have parents' emails, and we do have text messaging services. We have the MailChimp and the text message, the Facebook. Our website also has information, so feel free to contact us, and we're looking forward to accepting your beautiful, precious children for the 2020-2021 year. And I'd just like to say Nyawako on behalf of Step by Step. Onikiwahi.
Thank you so much, Natalie. I really like the way you finished up with the mention of the beautiful children. And that's, again, who we're trying to not only educate, but protect. All right, coming up next is the director of the Kahnawake Youth Center, Kyle Zacharie, who will tell us about some of the measures they're taking as we head toward the new school year. Kyle?
Good afternoon, Kahnawake. So I'm here to talk about the Kahnawake Youth Center and the services that we will be providing come September and the new school year. So really, as you've seen with Robin and with Natalie, this really is a community effort, and we are all working together for the best that we can for our community and for the children that we all care so much about. So as Natalie said, there is a gap in services between August 28th and September 28th when the elementary schools start back. We're aware of this. We are looking at solutions, whether that means that we continue to run our summer childcare services. We're going to be looking at that, and more information will be coming out within the next week. We're going to be sitting down and seeing what type of plan we can be offering to the community to, again, try to service the community and the needs that they have. What I am here to talk about is the after-school program, which most of the community has been a part of in some form throughout their lifetime. We're going to continue with our after-school program, but it is going to look a lot different than it has in years past. So our program is going to be more structured. So instead of it being a drop-in where you can go down to the gymnasium or go to the art room or do activities in any of the areas, we're going to have it more structured, where it's going to be 4 groups of 6 children. So we can only accommodate 24 children on any given day. Those children will be in their group the entire time. So when we register children, they will be placed into a group, and it's going to be with whether it's family members or children in the same grade, same class type things. We're going to put them in a group. They're going to be together for the entire time. Now, when I say the entire time, we're following the Kahnawake Education Center. So that means that we're going to be taking registrations for phase 1. So that means the students will come in September 28th, and they'll be with us until October 30th, and they'll be within their groups. They'll be running the same activities, whether you're in group 1, group 2, group 3, or group 4. They might all be doing an art activity. They might all be doing, have time for homework. They might all be doing physical activity in the rooms that they're in, but they will not be intermingling with each other, except for the 6 children in their group and the staff member they're working with. So that's a way that we're trying to keep everybody safe as well. We have also been open since March when we had the shutdown. We've been taking children in the entire time, and the max that we can take within our building is 24 children and still follow all the safety protocols. So we're going to continue doing that as well. When children enter the building, they are asked a series of questions. Their parents are asked the questions as well. The children have to disinfect their shoes. They have certain areas where they go within the building to hang up their jackets, their bags, different things like that. And we're going to continue that throughout the after-school program. We're going to be holding registration for the first phase, which is going to follow the Education Center. So that's right now, September 28th until October 30th. We're going to be holding that the week of September 14th. So the same time the Education Center is holding their orientation week. It's going to be held online through our Amelia system, like all of our other programs are currently. Like I said, 24 children is all that we can take at any given time. And we will be following the 4 days. So in phase 1 with the Education Center, only taking the children Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we will also only be taking the children those 4 days as well. In phase 2, should we go to 5 days, we will also continue on to 5 days as well. There's also some other procedures that we'll be putting in place. We'll be putting out more information as the time gets closer. And like I said, we'll be giving out more information for the gap in programming from August 28th to September 28th. With the delayed opening of schools. So like I said, this is really a complete community effort. All the organizations are working together to try to do the best that we can for our entire community, for the children that we service, and we're hoping for the best. And again, if you have any questions or comments for the Kahnawake Youth Center, please feel free to message us on our Facebook page or at info@kahnawakeyouthcenter.ca. Thank you very much, Anna.
And thanks, Kyle. Thanks, Natalie, and thanks, Robin, for the really, really great updates today. And again, thank you for the work that you have done, you and your organizations, to get us through all of this as we prepare for this next phase. As well, school's not that far away, so we wish everyone the best. Thank you guys for watching. I know it's been a tough time, but we'll all get through this together. So stay safe, everyone. And we shall be, as we said a little earlier, in the coming days and the coming weeks here, there's probably a lot more information that is going to be needed to be brought to you, and we will probably expand our services here from the COVID-19 task force. These updates, we'll probably be increasing them, so just pay attention. We'll let you know when they are going to happen. In the meantime, take care, and we shall see you next time. Nyao koa dano, onegiwahi.